The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
And sports brought to you by the Marquee Network. Stream Cubs baseball at watchmarquee.com. Speaking of the Cubs, how about the walk-off last night? Nico Horner returns to the lineup and then does this in the 10th.
Chop to the right side. This is going to do it. Bellinger is in. Welcome back, Nico Horner. Cubs win.
Awesome. Take down the Braves 4-3. They'll run it back tonight on the north side. And Kyle Hendricks has been put to the bullpen with an ERA over 10. He hasn't been put down. He's been put down to the bullpen. That's where he is now, out of rotation. And maybe
We're more understanding than that.
yeah, come on now. Yeah. We're not barbarians.
Not Old Yeller.
Yeah. So he'll be in the bullpen. Hopefully he can refine that magic that he had several seasons for the Cubs and just this year just really off the rails. Also a very funny picture of Shoto Imanaga, someone that's not off the rails and setting baseball history with a below 1 ERA right now. The picture with the Chicago Sky players, Angel Reese and Carmela Cardoza. It's a very just interesting picture. Have we put that up on our Facebook page, Case?
We haven't, but we can because it's kind of one of those photos. I don't know. I think about this a lot when I see odd groups of people with one another where you go, I wonder what they're talking about.
Yeah.
What do they have in common?
Like us.
Right.
People see us out.
Pretty much. Same deal.
One time we all went to Jersey Mike's, and the girl thought that Case and I were Brian's kids.
Yeah. And then screwed me on my points.
Yeah,
So-
you're right. I know. This is the dad thing to get mad about.
I
No
will
wonder she thought that.
never forget when I don't get my Jersey Mike's points when
And
they
if
ask.
Case and I are siblings, you know that is different moms. You know, like this was not a single divorce.
Oh, yeah, Brian gets around.
Brian was just out here slanging it into randos if Case and I are siblings.
2 moms, 2 kids. There we go.
Different tastes.
Trying to just get them to get along because it's,
That's like
it's dad day.
sampler platter of women. That's just a completely different scenario.
You're a pretty good sitcom, actually.
Are us?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I guess not. The White Sox break their 4-game losing skid, beat the Blue Jays 5-0, but Eloy Jimenez pulled a hammy, running back to home plate there, just looking all good, and then, he's probably out till infinity. They're again tonight in Canada. They do that. And finally, the Minnesota Tourism Agency has adopted the slogan, Bring Ya Ass. Now, this came from Charles Barkley talking to Anthony Edwards after the game that they won to advance in the NBA playoffs, and Barkley said this.
Okay, I have not been to Minnesota in probably 20 years.
Bring your ass.
Hey.
So they bought BringYaAss.com, the Minnesota Tourism, and as Kenzie went to it earlier, it does.
I did because I didn't believe this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they didn't. And I typed in BringYaAss.com, and it goes into Explore Minnesota immediately. And then you may be like, okay, well, they just bought that little thing. No, the front page, the huge, you know when you like the huge page, the one big picture of food, and on top of it says, bring your ass.
Yeah, ya ass.
Yeah, ass.
Ya
Right.
ass.
I apologize.
Which, by the way, a side note, isn't it incredible that BringYaAss.com was available as a domain name?
I would think it meant something a lot different.
Yeah. There's someone let it expire.
I'd have been nervous to Google it.
What is that website, the Wayback Machine?
Oh, yeah.
You can-
Let me way back it real quick.
You could go into the Wayback Machine and
that?
you can put in any website name and it'll show you, like, by the year what that was, like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. It'll show the old website. It's kind of retained
So you
there.
type in a domain and it says like what it used to be.
Yeah, for example, it's called Wayback Machine. I think it's waybackmachine.net or something like that.
It's
But
web.archive.org. And so
just Google Wayback Machine.
Yeah, but like if you put in Q101.com, you can see what Q101.com would have looked like in 2003 also.
Like you'll see my sludge bio there on the
Yeah.
Q101 page.
OMG.
Yeah.
Yes. Now,
Sludgy.
update from the Wayback Machine, when you put in bringyass.com,
Yes.
which I know sounds very natural coming from me,
It does.
this is the only result. This was a domain that was wide open for the taking for all these years.
What
and
a
the
mistake.
And the state of Minnesota finally snatched it up.
Wow.
I can't believe it was available. No one bought Bring Ya Ass.
Type in bring that ass and see what.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And coming up, we'll have our takeaways here in just a few minutes. And, of course, another chance at the When We're Young Festival coming up at 11 with Lauren when she comes in. And I just want to take a moment of the show right now as we get near the end of it. I thought about it during the show if I'd bring it up or not. because I get emotional about it. I'm going to try to get through it. But I wanted to thank the listeners because there are already a lot of them today that have reached out to me with DMs. Today is the 2-year anniversary of my dad passing away. And I make a lot of jokes on the air about my dad, about how tough he was. And all those are true, by the way.
He's just the best. He's my favorite person.
I wish you could have met him, Kenzie, because everything I talk about, that toughness was, true. However, he also was a guy that I wouldn't be here without him today, the sacrifice that he made for me and all my brothers and helped guide us. Like when I went to him about radio, and you think a guy like that, an old school tough guy, he didn't laugh. Well, he did laugh a little bit. Because he wasn't sure if he could make a living doing it. Like he was like, can you eat? And I go, I don't know. We'll see. And he goes, well, you can always go to law school then later, but your grades probably aren't good enough for that. But he, he encouraged it. He said, well, go give it a shot. Get out there and do it. And then if you fail, who cares? He tried it. And, here I am now many, many years later doing it. And all my brothers saw what they wanted to do, and they did it. And the sacrifice he made, he never cared about his own success or what he did. He cared about all of us, what we did, and wanting to hear about it. Like I taught him so much about radio and how it works, and he wanted to hear every time I talked to him. So I wanted to bring it up because it also is Mental Health Month. We're getting near an end of it in May. And I can tell you that 2 years ago, I was a wreck, and Case was hearing that and saw what was going on. And I remember a couple days after the funeral kind of saying, I guess I got to figure something else out to do for a living because I don't know how I'm going to laugh again. Like goof off on the air. Like I really did feel that way. Like I felt I can't just be like we're goofy, what we did today, a lot of great fun stuff.
Right.
And it was weird for a while, and then you get through it. And just the people out there that have, especially the people that have lost a parent who I hear from all the time, and then people that tragically might lose a son or a daughter or a sibling or whatever. You had some loss, and I know you feel like you can't get through it because that's how I felt. I felt like changing careers 2 years ago. And it is, time does, it's cliche, but time heals things, and your friends and people. I'll tell you one thing, music helps too, a lot. And just talking about it with someone gets through. So anybody out there struggling with anything, I tell you, please talk to people about it, and people your friends or whatever. If you don't have anybody, call 988, that number, if you're struggling with something, because it took me a long time to get through it. And I will say this, you never get over it.
Right.
But you get through it somehow. You can. And it's been 2 years now, and I think about him every day. Some days it's every minute of every day still. When I leave here or even during the show, I think about him at certain points. But the listeners here, man, you guys really got me through it from all of your reaching out and at that time and even now today. I've gotten some this morning, some DMs already. I can't believe that some listeners actually remember when my dad passed away.
Well, honestly, in a weird way, this show really keeps a lot of your dad's spirit alive because of all the stories and everything you share. He's almost like a character in this show. Because, I mean, he's making me laugh still. Like, your dad makes me laugh more than you do, Brian. He's so funny, and he's so great. He's still, what I love is that this show allows your dad to still bring people joy, which I think is just really cool. Yeah. Because I didn't get to meet him, but he brings me so much joy. I think he's just so badass, and I know so many people love him and still taking his lessons, still hearing stuff, still making people laugh, and I love that. We almost still have his presence because of it, which is cool. So thank you for being willing to talk about him and stuff. I know that that's really hard.
Yeah.
Not everyone works in media, obviously. They can relate to the pain and the struggles. It can be really hard to take something that personal.
Yes.
Because you don't necessarily know once you get in the midst of it how you're going to respond, and you're live, and do you want to open that door? Because there's usually some jerk that has something to say too, so you don't always want to open the door to something that you care about so much. But even though some of that stuff happens, sometimes so many people benefit because you're willing to talk about him and share it, and we get to know you better, and we get to know him still. And some of my favorite things you tell me are these stories with your dad. So I'm very grateful that you're willing to share it.
Well, that was really nice. That's really special. And he would hate that I'm talking about him right now. I know he's watching. I know he's above and all that. But I know he'd hate this because he didn't want attention, even though he was, an elite athlete for Ohio State football. And he never talked about that. If you asked him if he played football, he'd say, no, I didn't play sports. And he was a scholarship athlete. He won Ohio State because he didn't want, he thinks things in the past were over. He was done with it and he wanted to move on forward. And It's incredible. So thank you for saying those words. I got through it, I think, a little emotional.
You
but
know you did awesome.
Well, and I also appreciate, like I said, I want to pass that message on that I was a mess 2 years ago and even a year ago on the first year anniversary. And everybody said, once you get through that first year, it does get better. And it did. I'll never forget it. I'll never get over it. But things can get better. And just reach out and talk to somebody if you can, because that's what I did. I talk to you guys every day. So thank you for letting me share that. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
All right, Lauren coming in, take you to the rest of this pretty damn nice Wednesday. Almost lost track of what day it was. There we go, Wednesday.
I think you did.
Yeah, I did. I did. And at 11 a.m., another chance to get to the When We Were Young Festival in Vegas, going all day through the rest of the day here on Q101. First, your takeaways from today's show, 312-591-8300. Case, what do you got?
Kelly just checked in with one I really like. Her takeaway, if you go into a public bathroom, do not sit in the trough.
I'm saying. That's what I was trying to tell everybody.
We're going to go to a Cubs game. You're going to see the trough.
I don't want to go in there.
We'll watch the door, and you can go and look at the trough.
So I don't want to go.
There's YouTube videos of the trough if you need to see what it looks like ahead of time.
No, I know. And like this person sent one in and they wrote, thank you. And then I watched it and I said, never mind, not thank you. Because it was a guy jumping into it. And I started, I was eating my hard-boiled egg and it really ruined my appetite.
I've seen that video. It's unbelievable.
It was disgusting. Shivers.
Okay. What takeaway you got, Kenzie?
Trucker Mike said, Kenzie and Case have different moms, but according to Jersey Mike's, they are Brian's children.
Oh, you crazy kids. Finally, Juan checked in. Today's takeaway, Kenzie's cat was a little drowsy. Now, you really have to listen to the podcast to understand that one for sure. So what is on the podcast, Case?
Oh, my goodness, a bunch of stuff. Brian had fond memories of a Tinley Park bathroom. We talked about that this morning, everything going on there. Brian also exposed one of my biggest insecurities during Clash with Kenzie today, and we have to recover from that. And then we talked about the all-you-can-eat Buffalo Wild Wings promotion that may get me naked and may bankrupt Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's amazing because we talked about that, and our big guy just came in here, Marvin, is working on the promotion to make it happen where Case will eat as many boneless wings in their promotion, which is all you can eat, with his shirt off in a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, everything off. No pants.
Would you be better with off pants too?
Well, as long as I can wear my underoos, that's fine.
Well, no, you said naked.
I mean, I could do naked, but the whole world
Your
has to
wings
be
are
ready
going to
for
be
that.
out.
Oh, God.
Wings.
Miss a moment, miss a lot. The Brian and Kenzie podcast. It's the whole show. So whatever you miss, it's all there for you. Q101.com, Spotify, Apple, however you get your podcasts.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.